do you guys notice something different about me today? Do you guys notice something different? I don't know. I don't know if there's something different. I feel like there is. Do you guys notice? I don't know. Well, anyway, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're like, why are your lips so dark and uneven? It is because I'm using a lip stain right now because my lips were looking type ashy and I didn't like that. So I gotta wait for it to like dry off completely so I could like, you know, take it off and then apply some lip gloss, Doesn't matter. I am back with another spooky story, you guys. I am back with another YouTube video. You guys know I love you guys so much and I love being here and I love creating content for YouTube. Do me a favor, before we get into this video, we have unfortunately hit a plateau on my YouTube channel. You can go and check it out yourself. You'll see that all my videos are like basically getting stuck at 20,000 views, whereas that's amazing. It's 20,000 people watching me every single week. I also have 40,000 of you guys. My subscriber count, at least according to YouTube Studios, have been dropping a little bit. So please, you guys, whenever you share my videos, whenever you guys leave a comment, whenever you guys like, whenever you guys subscribe, it is boosting my videos. Whenever you guys see my face, turning on your post notification and clicking my videos as soon as I post really does go the distance. It really does help. I'm trying to break the 20,000 view scale this month, so you guys please help your girl out. Help a girl out. We trying to, you know, make it out the hood. We trying to be real successful with this YouTube stuff. And then on top of that, we are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Like, we are so close to 50,000 subscribers. Like, I was growing exponentially fast, like, at the beginning of YouTube, and I was like, okay, I wonder when this is gonna slow down. We have hit the plateau. So let's keep going. Let's keep driving up interactions. Let's keep commenting. If you guys see me in other creators' videos, comment me, tag me, you know, letting the people know to follow me and to subscribe to me and that I'm over here on this side of YouTube. I love you guys so much. We're gonna get started. I have an assortment of stories selected for you guys. And am I gonna lie to y'all face and tell y'all I read all of them ahead of time? No, but I did put them into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT did fix like the grammar issues or whatever it is. And if you are hearing your story today that you submitted, you finally made it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really trying not to be lazy, but sometimes life happens. Alright, let's take this shit off. I don't want to be so tricky. Let us begin. The first story is a mermaid encounter. It's the Mermaid of Cape Town. This is a story my dad always told me about, a mermaid sighting in Cape Town. It started with my grandmother. She's passed on now, but she had a strong connection to God and could always sense when something felt off. Back when she was alive, she attended a local church, and every now and then the church would organize trips to the beach, but my grandma didn't like going. She always said that particular beach had a strong, unsettling energy. One day, during one of those church trips, something happened. Everyone on the church bus headed to the beach, and suddenly, people started screaming, "Mermaid! Mermaid!" They all rushed to one side of the bus to get a better look, nearly tipping it over. My grandma, scared and sensing something wasn't right, quickly got off the bus. She looked over to where everyone was pointing, and that's when she saw it. She didn't call it a mermaid. She said, "That's no mermaid. That's a siren." The creature was near a bridge, slowly moving closer, while others stood frozen or in awe. My grandmother started praying, speaking in what people describe as, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Engel Tao, or angel tongue. No one could understand the words, but they felt the power in them. And just like that, the siren swam back into the and and disappeared. After that day, my grandma warned my dad never to go back to that beach again, and he never did. That was the first mermaid encounter. You know, I'm like wondering if I should tell like one of like the famous mermaid encounters that I heard from Haiti about, like I grew up with this tale It was pretty much about this mermaid who had a comb, right? And pretty much, I feel like this is like all mermaid tales, right? Basically, like the mermaid had a comb, and pretty much, that's like the comb, like she would like use it to brush her long black hair. And then there's like this man. Listen, I'm gonna call my aunt about the story, and I'm gonna get it straight, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna deliver it to y'all. Because I remember there was a story about a mermaid and a comb, and somebody taking the comb, and then them having riches and shit, and then them getting lured into the water because they weren't grateful and they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. It was a whole lot of. But if I remember, I have to call my aunt to get that story, because it's like a Haitian tale. But all right, let's move on to the next story. That one was a short one, but I'm starting off short, and then the stories are gonna progressively get longer and longer. So that's next story called Night of the Dwarfs. The Night of the Dwarfs. I'm from South Africa, and this is a story that still gives me chills when I think about it. There was an old woman in our neighborhood. Everyone said she was crippled during the day, barely able to walk. But strangely, at night, she moved perfectly straight, like a stick. One evening, my mom went to an all-night church service, and our neighbor, the lady next door, was headed to a party not far from our house. She left her son with me, and my cousin was also spending the night. At first, everything was normal. We watched TV and hung out, but when it got late, we started feeling tired and decided to go to bed. That's when things got weird. I couldn't sleep. Something felt off. Out of curiosity, I looked out my window, and what I saw made my blood run cold. There were 3 small black figures outside. They looked like dwarfs, but not the kind you see in fairy tales. These things were pushing our trash bin back and forth like they were playing with it, or maybe doing something else entirely. Quietly, I nudged the 2 beside me to look. They saw it too. We were frozen, staring at these things in disbelief. And then, it was like the creatures felt us watching. They pushed the trash bin closer to the fence, and then they stopped and looked straight at us. That's when I screamed, loud and hard. Even though I was the oldest, I was the most terrified. The next morning, I told my mom and the lady next door everything. Their reaction scared me even more. They said we were lucky to still be able to speak about it. Then the old lady, the one said to be crippled, came to me and gave me a warning I'll never forget. She said, "Don't ever disturb me like that again, or you'll never see the sun shine." Wow. This is like the neighbor being a Luga. You know, I have told this story on my page before, but it was so long ago that I know a lot of y'all didn't see it. It was one of those stories that my uncle told me, and my uncle, if you're an OG, then you know my uncle got like the best voodoo stories, because he grew up in that stuff. He practices it, and then like on top of that, like he be catching like lois and stuff. So he had told me this story about this kid whose grandmother was a Lugau, and he didn't know that his grandmother was a Lugau. So every single night there was like a hole in his door, right? So it was like the hole was like right below the knob, right? So every single night he would hear activities like going on outside and stuff. So he would decide, okay, he would go out there and like look through the little hole underneath the knob to see like what's going on. Again, he would hear flying creatures, he would hear things on top of his roof and all of that stuff. So he's feeling unsettled, and he's like, I gotta see what's going on. And the one rule in Haiti is really like, mind your business. Even if you're hearing somebody outside talking, like whatever the case may be, you do not go and look, because like if you go and look, whatever happens to you, buddy. So pretty much like he made it a habit, like every night, like he would go, he would stand, he would kneel in front of the door and look through the hole underneath the doorknob. And then one day, as he was doing that, he had a dream that, you know, he was back in bed or whatever the case may be. But as he was in bed, he was hearing the noise. He got up to go check, you know, underneath the door. So then as he's checking to see what happens, he's seeing creatures flying, like, you know, past the house, like as regular. Except this one night, something was different. As he's praying through the hole, something swipes by the hole and then comes back and stares through the hole as he's staring at it. And he gets scared, so he jumps back and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, you know, crawl back into bed. But before he can even think about that, he starts feeling weak, like he starts feeling like he's not okay. So then he, you know, starts losing consciousness. And the next thing he knows, he is up in the sky underneath a freaking Luga, flying up and down, and he's flying so freaking fast, and he's absolutely freaking out. This boy had somehow been taken by a freaking Luga, and how he would discover that his grandmother was actually a Luga too was as he was taken by a random Luga when he was flying back and forth. He hears somebody say, "Hey, that's my grandson. Put my grandson back." And this Luga, you know, who has him underneath its belly, is just flying around with him, not listening to the grandmother. So the grandmother flew up and starts attacking this Luga and gets into a full-on fight with this Luga, and then takes her grandson away and then puts him back in the house and tells him, "You need to mind your business. You need to mind your business. You need to stop looking through that hole. You need to stop trying to find answers to things that you do not understand." And then puts him back in the house. And the next thing he knows is that he wakes up. But when he wakes up, he woke up and he was kneeling still in front of the door looking through the hole. And that's how he discovered that his grandmother was a Luga. But his grandmother also saved his life. So, next story. This one is called Possessed on the Way to School. Good evening. I'm a college student, and to save money, I travel from home to school every day. It's about a 30-minute walk to the taxi rank, so usually leave home around 5:30 in the morning. This happened in winter. One morning, while walking, I started feeling off. At first, I thought I was just tired, but then I noticed something strange. I felt like I was walking faster, then slower, like I wasn't in control of my own pace. My hands started turning pale, almost white. I stared at them, confused. Then suddenly, I couldn't tell you where I was going anymore. My body wasn't obeying me. I tried to snap out of it, to take control, but it felt like I was sleepwalking. And then, it got worse. I walked into a random house. I didn't know why. I didn't even remember making the decision to walk in. But the moment I stepped inside, I started to trance, like I wasn't even me anymore. The owners of the house came out, shocked. One of them asked me, "Who sent you?" I told them, "I don't know. I was going to school." They kept pressing, "Who sent you?" Again, I said, "I don't know." After a long silence, they looked at me strangely and said, "Go home." But I didn't go home. I had a test and I was determined to make it. I went straight to school. But while I was writing, I suddenly dozed off and something took over. I started losing my breath. My body went into a fit, like I was having seizures. They rushed me to the emergency room. I was shaking uncontrollably. Eventually, I made it back home, but I never told my parents what happened. They wouldn't believe me anyway. That's it. That's it. Nah, when y'all send me these spooky stories, please send me the whole tea. Send me the whole cheese, mate. Send me what happened before. Send me what happened directly before the event to happen. Tell me every last bit of detail. Tell me how you was feeling, how the cat was feeling, how the flies around you. You need to tell me everything. And then tell me what happened after, and then tell me what happened 5 years after. Thank you. Because I felt like that was like, I'm on a bit of a cliffhanger, like a little bit. Wow. Okay, let's get into the next one. This one is a little bit longer of a story. And here's what ChatGPT had suggested about the story that we're gonna call the person who submitted the story Gold, because I think they want to be anonymous. This is something so powerful and personal. Your story is heartbreaking, raw, and incredibly brave. You went through more than most people could ever imagine, and you're still here. You're still standing. That says everything about the strength you carry. Let's get into the story. My name is Gold, and this is my story. I'm from Port Arthur, Texas. Oh, this is a new one. Texas. We have a Texas story. We have made it out of South Africa. Whoop, whoop. Ooh, ooh. If you're from Texas, if you're from the United States, stand the fuck up. Oh my God, before I get into this, okay, I'm going to tell y'all this story after I tell this story. All right, because I don't want to get off track. Hey y'all, my name is Gold. I'm from Port Arthur, Texas, and I'm a new subscriber. But I already love the content here, and I just felt like it was finally time to share a story about myself. Something I've carried since 2019. Oh, that's a long time. Back in 2014, when I was just 14 years old, I started talking to a guy. I'll call him Justin. We kept in touch for years, and by 2016, we moved in together. At 16? I had no help from anyone at the time. My own mother. She was trying to send pictures of me to her boyfriend, trying to get him to sleep with me. I had to leave. Okay, understand. She wasn't really around anyway. She left right around the time I got pregnant. I was 7 months pregnant with my first son when someone really close to me died. That just left me and my siblings trying to survive on our own. My relationship wasn't good either, but Justin was all I had. In 2017, we welcomed our second son. We had dreams of being a forever family, but I found out that he'd been cheating on me since our first child, sending pictures to another girl, planning things behind my back. They even tried to name our son together like he wasn't mine. Fast forward to 2019, I got pregnant again. This time, we were already living together, and I really thought things were okay. I was excited. I had already picked out names for the little girl I was hoping for. But stress can be deadly, and I ended up miscarrying. I'm sorry for your loss. He had been gone for days. I tried reaching out to tell him, and all I got were messages saying, "I love you and I will be there soon," but he didn't come. The hospital told me that I had already delivered the baby. I had no idea. Later that night, I went back to our apartment and I passed the baby in the toilet. I looked down and I saw her. I didn't know what to do. I cried like I had never cried before. I picked her up, wrapped her up in my shirt, then I walked to the river and with one of my sons in a stroller and her in my arm. I couldn't stop crying. Wow, this one is sad. I couldn't stop crying. When I got there, I parked the stroller by a nearby bench and began digging. The tide was low. I dug deep enough, and I laid her to rest. After that, my mind went blank. I couldn't see straight. I couldn't feel anything. My son was still sleeping peacefully in the stroller, and I started walking into the river. I can't swim, but it was like something was pulling me in, calling me. Then I heard it, a cry, loud and clear. I stopped. I turned to look. My son was still sleeping, but that cry, it wouldn't stop until I walked out of the water. When I finally turned around, I saw an old couple not far from me. They had been watching me the whole time. I made it back to the apartment. Justin still wasn't there. He didn't come for days. And when he did, he didn't hold me. He didn't ask if I was okay. He just argued and asked if I wanted to try for another baby. We don't talk anymore. I've moved on from the situation, but it still plays in my mind. More often than I'd like to admit. My boys are now 7 and 8 years old. I'm 24 going on 25, and I just wanted to say this. To anyone out there going through something heavy, something that feels too big to carry, I wish you luck. I wish you peace. I hope you find someone who hears you, sees you, and helps you carry some of your weight. Even if you feel alone, I promise you're not. There is someone out there going through worse, and someone out there right now that just needs a reason to stay. I hope they find it. I'm sending blessings and love to all of you. So wait, what was the baby? What was the cry? I made it back. Like, what was the cry though? Like, I'm confused. Okay. Yeah. I get it though. I'm sorry for your loss though. Oh my God. That's very traumatizing. I don't even know what to say. All right, let's move on to the next story. I want to take a moment of silence for that one because I feel like that one was just like so traumatizing. This is supposedly the last story that I have, but I didn't know that this was going to be this short, so I'm going to definitely have to go find like 20 more minutes worth of stories to tell so I can make this video long enough for y'all so y'all don't bully me. Yeah. All right, let's do this. This one is called... This story is wild, spooky, tragic, and deeply rooted in the kind of ancestral storytelling that sticks with you forever. You can feel the layers: grief, betrayal, the supernatural, that eerie consequence of ignoring warning signs. Here's a cleaned up version of what keeps the original South African flavor but polishes the structure and flow. This story is called Don't Feed Me There, a South African story told by my grandma. This is a story my grandmother told me, a true South African tale, passed down through generations. Let's get into it. I need a break because I feel like I've just been reading. There was once a man who lived with his 8-year-old son. His wife had passed away, and after some time, he remarried. The new wife already had 2 daughters, both the same age as the boy. At first, everything seemed fine. The 3 children lived together as siblings. One evening, the kids went out to watch a rugby match, but on the way there, they got into a fight. Just a typical sibling stuff. The 2 girls ran home crying and told their mother what happened. She held them close and said, "Don't worry, girls, I'll deal with him." The next morning, the children went to school like usual. But after school, something strange and tragic happened. As the boy walked home with his friends, he suddenly fell into a muddy puddle and drowned. A muddy puddle. How does an 8-year-old drown in something so shallow? His friends panicked. They searched the puddle over and over, but couldn't find him. They ran to a nearby house for help. When they returned, they found him, floating at the surface. His body was still, his skin was cold, one eye was open, and he was smiling. When the father arrived, along with the police and paramedics, the boy was confirmed unalived. Cause of death: drowning. His lungs were full of water. The next day, the father went to the mortuary to bathe his son's body, and while washing him, the boy smiled, then slowly opened one eye. The father froze, but forced himself to keep going. He thought maybe it was just his grief playing tricks on him. At the funeral, it happened again. That same smile, that same eye. The day after the funeral, around the same time, the father heard the front door open. He got up, confused, and there was his son, sitting, eating. The boy looked up and said, "Dad, they don't feed me there." And just like that, he vanished. This time, this happened again and again and again. Always the same time, always the same words. "They don't feed me there." The father began to expect it, but eventually he grew tired and confused. One night, he looked at his son and said, "I don't know if you're dead or alive, and I'm going to unalive you myself if you don't leave me in peace." But when he looked into the boy's eyes, he couldn't do it. The boy left. He didn't come back for weeks. Then one evening, the father was watching TV when he saw a chicken enter through the kitchen door. He shouted, "Get that chicken out the house." Next morning, he passed an old woman on the road. She looked at him with side eyes and said, and I quote, "That chicken you chased out last night, that was your son. He escaped the world of witchcraft and came to find you, but you turned him away." The father was stunned, broken. He realized the truth. He returned home and immediately chased away his wife and her 2 daughters. Then with a heavy heart, he performed a cleansing ceremony to let his son's spirit finally rest. Wow. Yeah, it's always like the passed down stories. They're always so good. Cause wow, that one was a mind. That one was a crazy one. I feel like I also have to edit this video and add like visuals and music and shit like that. Like I have to finesse this video. I can't just post it. Like I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to break the 20,000 view jail. So I have to do better. I'm trying to get better at my thumbnails, you know, like Canva is not that easy to use despite what they say. And I'm trying. All right, let's get into the next set of spooky stories. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Lex. And this is what chat had to say, because apparently before chat edits a story, it gives its opinion. Thank you, chat, because it makes my videos a little bit longer. Lex, this is a story. Doesn't matter if it's messy, chaotic, or hard to categorize. It's real, it's intense, and it speaks to something deeper than just a quote-unquote bad friend situation. This is spiritual warfare wrapped in a toxic friendship, cloaked in manipulation, envy, and deception. You wrote it raw, and I'm keeping it that way while giving it a structure, just a touch of polish to let your voice shine through without losing the emotion. Let's get into this spooky story. Being friends with a witch, unfortunately. Anonymous, but I'm watching. Duh, I fuck with you. I fuck with you too, girl. I don't even know if this counts as a quote-unquote story, but I need to get it out. Honestly, I just need to know I'm not alone. You know, honestly, whatever it is that you've gone through, before I get into the story time, whatever it is that you've gone through, somebody on Reddit already went through something worse. So, rest easy at night. Or probably went through the exact same thing already. So, you're not alone. But now let's get into it. This is the time I was friends with a witch. I met her in college. We were in a show together, and even though something about her felt off, I went to a PWI, and a predominantly white institution, if you don't know, and the few black girls in our department stuck together. She started off calling herself a Christian, but I come from a spiritual background and my discernment is sharp. I could see through her pretty quickly. I've been seeing spirits since I was young, so I'm not easily spooked. But the day after I met her, a demon showed up in my room. She used to say she wished she was as spiritually gifted like me. Eventually, she turned my ability to see spirits into a party trick. Then suddenly, she claimed she could see auras, then ghosts, then who was about to die. It kept escalating, and it pissed me off, because the only reason I told her about my gift was to figure out who had died on the property that we had lived on. Turns out it was the original owner of the land before it became a college. Side note. Fast forward a few months, she became obsessed with my life. Who I was talking to, who I was sleeping with. Every time I met her male friends, she would announce my virginity status like it was hers to share, and try to push me onto them like I was a pawn. I started trying to distance myself, but she made it impossible. We had the same obligations, and worst of all, she was best friends with someone in my family. She kept pressuring me to drink, especially when there were men around. When that didn't work, she tried humiliating me. The same men she pushed me towards ended up liking me, and that triggered her jealousy even more. She warned me that they were only after me because of sex, knowing that I wouldn't go for that, just to ruin the vibe. Then she started talking about practicing witchcraft. She asked me to stop talking about God so much. It made her quote unquote uncomfortable, and she said he didn't do enough for her. And like that, and like a dumbass, I actually listened. Next thing I know, I'm at her place all the time. I never wanted to be there, especially not to sleep over. Then she declared that she was a blood witch. And I made it very clear, you're not putting blood in anything I'm consuming, the fuck, right? She started talking about harvesting energy. Told me that we should go to the Salem together for Halloween, just the two of us. Kept saying, you're a witch too. I can see that you're a witch too. That's when things got intense. God gave me the heads up. I began putting space between us. By then, she had isolated me to the point where I barely talked to anyone else. I was depressed, lost, broken down, just like her. And she was happy because she could never understand why God did so much for me and not her. Then came the final act. We were meeting for a mutual friend's birthday. She wanted us to spend the night so we can travel together. She looked at me dead in the face and said, and I quote, "Don't pray in my house. It's my space to manifest." I prayed anyway. The next morning, she casually said, "I manifested over y'all while you were sleeping." That was it. The final straw? I couldn't even be cordial after that. Later that day, we were on the pier. My friends went to use the bathroom, and it was just me and her. And out of nowhere, she screamed, "You're hurting me." And I looked at her like, bitch, what? Everyone turned. I stayed calm and I asked her how. She pulled out some random oil and said, and I quote, "Put this on, please. You're tense. You're hurting me." I looked at her dead in the face and said, no. She dropped it. She just switched back to regular conversation like nothing happened. After that, I completely removed her access to me. That pissed her off. She started astral projecting into my dreams, trying to reach me there. I'm a lucid dreamer, so I confronted her. She came 5 separate times in one dream. She tried to feed me raw meat. She didn't get a reaction. She started stalking me in real life, texted my mom, reached out to people I knew, still projecting into my dreams, still trying to get back in. I'm convinced she wanted to initiate me. The worst part is, what these new age spiritualists forget is, you might command a thing, but you don't control how it carries out. You open doors, you don't get to choose who walks through them. I'm going to read that one more time because y'all just be fucking around. You might command a thing, but you don't control how it carries out. Sorry. You might command a thing, but you don't control how it carries out. You open doors, but you don't get to choose who walks through them. The girl, she almost got me eaten. The war is not over, but I know who I walk with. So I guess this is a ongoing matter. Oh my goodness. Wow. You're definitely not alone though. At least according to ChatGPT 2, you're definitely not alone, and people need to hear this. Do you know how many people are being taunted by witches, by people in their lives that are like witchcraft and voodoo? Like when I tell these story times, I really want people to be aware. Like going around and being disrespectful to people. Like right now we're in this day and age where we're watching baddies, we're watching the Zeus network, right? And I feel like certain people are really allowing that to affect them in real life, to think that that's reality, right? To think that it's okay for me to just run up on somebody that I see outside because I see it on television. Meanwhile, you don't know who you're running up on. Literally, this girl, just literally told me that she went to a party and somebody got there and she winded up in the hospital, all because, they was calling each other out. Oh, I want to fight you. I want to fight you. I want to fight you. The other girl, who apparently really didn't want to fight, she finally came outside. And mind you, this was social media. This was very public for everybody to see, right? So they was arguing on social media. The girl was calling her pussy, like, oh, you don't want to fight. You don't want to do nothing. Well, homegirl came outside with a, and basically her, okay? Homegirl is in the hospital. Her fingers chopped. Her face is cut open and all of that. So when I say that to say, don't take baddie's behavior into real life. You don't know who you're fucking with. I am relating this also back to being disrespectful to people, running up on people, attacking people that you don't know. Okay? You might think, okay, I'm just gonna run up on this girl, I'm gonna beat this girl up, and I'm gonna fight her, and I'm gonna embarrass her. And you wonder why your life is going downhill after the fact. People have a cheat code in life that not everybody has. And I tell people this all the time. Like, I'm from Haiti. And a lot of African Americans, they don't believe in magic. Well, I don't want to say a lot of African Americans. A lot of Americans don't believe in magic, okay? And I try to tell them all the time, you don't have to be scared for a dog to bite you. You don't have to be scared of a dog for it to bite you, okay? Like, you could be, I don't believe it, yet it is affecting you. When you see Caribbean people, especially those who are fresh from the Caribbean. Now, those who grew up in America, you might have a better chance. But them Africans straight from Africa, them Caribbeans straight from the Caribbean, you think you're going to go around harassing people, being disrespectful, taking people man, cussing people out, running up on people, because that's the culture over here. Then don't question why you keep praying and your life is still going to hell. Your life is still going to shit. Like, the magic, the voodoo out there is real. Okay? I personally don't do that. But when I tell you God don't play about me, and you know who else don't play about me? My family in Haiti who practice that joint, who don't give a fuck where they end up after the fact, who's been doing this since they were born at the end of the day. I know what my family is capable of. I don't go to them with my issues. I don't go, if you betray me, I don't go to my family with my issues. Because I know the power of voodoo. Like, I know the fucking power of voodoo. It's not a joke. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's not a game. Know who you're dealing with and know how to move on accordingly. Because sometimes a good, revenge doesn't require beating somebody's ass. I'm just saying. I need to find another story to tell, so I'm gonna take a little brief intermission right here, because I think we're 35 minutes through this video. So let's take a little brief intermission, and I will be back with maybe 15 minutes more of stories to tell. Okay, peace. So this is the last set of stories that I'm telling, and yeah, enjoy. I hope you made it this far into this video, because if you didn't, okay. This is what Chad had to say about the next story. Hey girl, I got you. This story is so vibey and entertaining already. I'm just going to clean it up for clarity, flow, and a little extra drama. Hey girl, hey. Okay, I've got a story to tell. It's not a long one, but it's a little spooky, so buckle up. Let me start with a little backstory. My parents told me that when I was a baby, I had a spirit friend named Philip. He passed away in a fire that happened in the apartment we were living in at the time. So yeah, the spiritual world and I have always been connected since diapers. Now fast forward to about 12 years ago when I was living in Trinidad. I had always heard about spirits, what we call zombies. This year I'm moving like a carnival zombie. I getting on bad. Sorry. We call them zombies. Appearing at night. And friend, I believe in all that. The stories alone used to have me shook. One day, I came home from school and went straight to check the clothes on the line. The line was at the side of our house. A little further down was the garden and a path that led around to the front. Anyway, the clothes were still damp, so I left them and went about my business. A few hours go by. Now it's dark outside. That's when my mom calls me. Mom, Dej, did you take the clothes off the line? Me. No, they were still wet. Can you go get them now, please? It's dark, and you know I don't like going back there at night. Deja, just do it. Fine, but if something happens to me, it's on you. Call ins. So, I grab the basket, I put on my sturdy slides, and I head to the back. Immediately, I get this unsettling feeling, but I try to brush it off. I start playing music on my phone to distract myself, but for some reason, the backyard was pitch black that night. Normally, our neighbor's porch light gives us a little bit of glow, but of course, tonight, it's off. I'm trying to take the clothes down as quickly as possible, but I can feel eyes on me. It was like someone was standing in the dark, watching. I kept glancing over my shoulder, neck snapping like I was on high alert. And then I saw it. I froze. There was a tall black figure standing by the garden path. He had a hat on. Not like a baseball cap, but one of those flat-topped old school hats. Kind of like this. I'm going to put the emoji on the screen. Minus the bow. LOL. I'm typing this after a spliff, so bear with me. But yeah, that's what it looked like. So boom, it's just standing there. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. And then he started moving. But not like walking. This man glided down the path, gracefully too. Like, sir, not you floating in the dark like this is some horror film. I grabbed that basket so fast, put my slides in sports mode, and did the absolute dash back inside. My mom got home not long after and asked about the clothes. I told her, listen, I tried. And then I told her what happened. She said I was being dramatic and I was just scared. We ended up going back there together just to get the clothes, but even then, I could still feel something watching us. I know what I saw. I know I'm not crazy. And after coming across pages like yours, I feel even more validated. So yeah, that's my little story, girl. Zombies are real, and I'm never trusting the backyard at night ever again. Chat was right. That one was a little bit comedic. You have the vein coming out my forehead. I did wish I read this a little ahead so I could have done it justice and get into character, but I will be doing that for TikTok. All right, let's get into the next story. Now, this one is a long one. So please buckle down. Because this one, I saved the best for last, I think. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I just skimmed through it. Let's get into it. According to ChatGPT, Chat says this story is powerful, personal, and absolutely spiritual on a whole nother level. It's not just about something quote-unquote weird happening. It's about a deep spiritual attack, generational cycles, and a fight for your life and your child's life. I took your raw words and shaped them into something that still sounds like you, just clearer and smoother. The story is called They Tried to Steal My Baby, a story I'll never forget. Let's get into this story time. Girl, this might sound crazy, but I need to get this off my chest. I know what I've experienced, and I know I'm not crazy. So let me take you back a little while. No, thank you. When I was younger, my cousins on my grandma's side and my grandpa's side moved in with us. His sons stayed at our house, and their parents, the mom, dad, and daughters, stayed at my uncle's place. Everything seemed fine until one day things shifted. At my uncle's house, where the mom and dad were staying, the dad told everyone not to go into the bedroom that he shared with his wife. And in that room, there was a small door that led to the basement. The owner of the house was confused, like, why not? My uncle's wife got suspicious and told my grandma. After my cousins and their parents left, my uncle's wife started having terrifying dreams. She was pregnant with twins at the time. She ended up giving birth early, and sadly, one of the babies didn't make it. The bad dreams, though, didn't stop. So one day, me, my aunt, and my grandma went to the house to pray. My grandma said, let's go into the room where they were sleeping in. We did. We opened that little door to the basement and we saw something. It was black, wrapped in tight red string, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it was off. It was definitely a red flag, and we should have taken it more seriously. Years passed. I was in middle school now. I went to my cousin's house to get my hair done. Her older sister was doing my hair, and the younger one made me food. I ate it. I was tired and hungry. After that, everything changed. By the time I got to high school, my life started falling apart. I couldn't focus. I kept falling asleep in class. My parents were yelling at me constantly. I started getting dark patches on my neck and chest, and no doctors could explain why. We went to hospital after hospital after hospital, and nothing. Now fast forward to 2024. Wow. I got pregnant. Somehow, my cousin found out. I don't even know how. We ran into each other at a wedding, and she asked me if it was true. I don't know why I told her the truth, but I did. I even told her how far along I was. Bad mistake. And I regret it every single day. Right after that, I had a hospital appointment. I went in and they told me that they couldn't find the baby. I was like, what? That's impossible. I went home and I told my grandma. She told me to lie down. She put her hands on my belly. She felt the baby. Right then, the baby started kicking. So we figured that maybe the baby was hiding during the scan or something. We went back for another checkup. Again, they couldn't find the baby. It was like that every time I stepped in a hospital. The baby disappeared. That's when we turned to prayer. We walked into the church, and the moment the pastor saw me, he stopped mid-prayer. He looked at my face and my chest, and he said, "Is that how your skin normally looks?" I told him no, because at that point, the dark spots had started to spread a lot. He asked his son to bring him water. He prayed over it and gave it to me to drink. Then the real praying started. In the middle of the prayer, the pastor stopped again. He looked at me and said, "Come here." He laid hands on me and said, "You've been poisoned. You have been bewitched." While he was praying, his wife suddenly said, "Wait, pray for her mother too." Something was going on with my mom. And let me tell you, that's another story for another day. But they had started delivering her on the spot because the spirits weren't just after me. As they prayed, I was screaming, begging for help. I was bleeding big blood clots. My grandma looked at me and said, "This isn't normal." We went to a traditional pregnancy healer, the kind that works with herbs. And then it all started making sense. The pastor's wife told me that they had taken my baby. Before all of this, I kept having dreams. 2 girls, a mother giving me food, me giving birth early. At the time, I thought the dreams were about getting ready for early labor. Now I know better. They were feeding me spiritually, setting things in motion, attaching things to me. And yes, I know my cousin is responsible. Even now, I'm still having dreams. Just recently, a man came to me in one. He was holding a child. He sat down, held my hand, and started praying for me. Something in me told me to pray for the child, so I did. But as I prayed, the man started gripping my hands tighter and tighter. My family was around, but they couldn't see what was happening. They couldn't hear me. He disappeared, and I woke up. I knew my child was still out there. Wow. Oh, by the way, the girl is from, sorry, she told me where she was from. And I want to do it justice because this wasn't a South African story. I'm Congolese and I stay in Iowa. Okay, so the girl, I'm not going to say her name, but she's from Congolese and she stays in Iowa. Congolese, she's from Congo and she stays in Iowa. And that concludes today's video. I know you guys don't want it to end, so you're like, no, why? But yes, I have to go. Great. But yes, y'all. Okay. I have to get going. I have to go. I have to shoot for TikTok today. And then I still have work today, so it's a whole lot of going on. But yeah, y'all. You guys finally got to see your girl with straight hair. I did get a trim. I did get my hair trimmed and cut and all of that. This is why you guys should follow me on all my other platforms, because if you did follow me on all my other platforms, then you would not be shocked to see me right now with straight hair, because this is actually already day 4 of me having straight hair. So technically, my roots is puffy already. The back is already starting to nap up. So you're late. You're mad late right now. If you thought, like, you know, you're late. So this is why I say, please, go follow me on Instagram. What do I need to do and say? What do I need to do and say? If there's 20,000 of y'all watching, why is it like 50 of y'all going to go follow me on Instagram? Why? My God, son. I'm just trying to get to 10K on Instagram. Y'all, please, please. I don't want to be here forever. Please follow me on Instagram. I'm lit on Instagram. You get to see more of me. You get to see more of my personality. You get to see more of my day-to-day and what I do in my life. You get to see more about my hair. Like, if you followed me on Instagram, you would have seen this whole entire hair journey. For those of y'all who don't have TikTok. Yeah, like, if you're not following me on Instagram, like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you support me? You're not tired of me begging? Because I'm tired of begging. Yo, this is getting, my silky is getting stiffy. It's not giving silky no more. And, you know, it's giving stiffy now. It's not giving silky anymore. But if you had followed me from jump, you would have seen it when it was silky. But you know what? Maybe you don't deserve to see when it was silky. Anyway, like I say in every single video, I love you, my abducted humans. Thank you for tuning in to yet another YouTube video by me. I am so excited to be a YouTuber. I am so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to deliver these spooky stories. Please, I beg you, share my videos on YouTube. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Get me to 50,000 subscribers. We will start doing merch. We will start doing giveaways. We'll start doing a lot of fun things as I am trying to get into the YouTube community and trying to stick with the YouTube community, because I love y'all over here. Like I say in every single video, and I mean it more every single day and every single time I say it, I love you, my abducted humans, from the absolute bottom of my heart to the moon and back. I freaking love you, my abducted humans, from your absolute favorite Haitian homegirl. And by the way, before I dip out, I just want to say that my one follower that I met coming out of the train station, yeah, I met a fucking supporter. This year I'm moving like a carnival jump. Am I famous or something? Like, yeah, I met a freaking subscriber when I was coming out of the train station. And mind you, I just want to say this because I feel like I'm Beyonce, but I was sitting in the train, and mind you, I have a resting bitch face, and when I'm going to work, and majority of the time when I'm outside, like, I'm probably headed to work, right? Majority of the time, I swear I'm in here smoking some weed, but either way, I was out there, and mind you, it was Monday. The kid that I was working with, she didn't have school, so I was, like, pretty much at work all day from, like, 10 a.m. to, like, 4, and I had a hair appointment. I looked terrible, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all how I looked it. Mind you, this was the day, this was before I got my hair straightened, which is why I was like, God, do you hate me? Because why would I run into a subscriber looking like this? This is what I looked like. This was right before I went to get my hair done. But I'm going to show y'all what it looked like after. I had a old lady bahab. It was definitely flat. Okay. This is my hair, y'all. Straight with no curls. But you know what? I'm not going to show y'all nothing else because you just got to follow me on Instagram. But anyway, yeah. I'm walking around looking crusty and dusty. And then I noticed that there was this guy as I'm like exiting the train station. Mind you, I have my music in my ears and they're blasting. And I noticed that this guy was looking at me. And I'm thinking like, you know, he's just trying to flirt with me. Yeah, looking like that. Yeah, I still think that. Yeah, he's probably just trying to flirt with me. But I'm heading up the stairs of the train station, and then he catches up to me, and then I have my headphones on again, blasting music, and as he approaches me, he taps me, or I don't know if he said something, but I couldn't hear him, so I just took off my headphones, and I was like, he was like, Rebecca? And I was so confused because I'm looking at him. I'm like, he doesn't look familiar. Like, maybe he knows me. I don't know. Like, I swear, y'all, I forgot that I did YouTube, TikTok, all of that. Like, I was so confused. I was just looking at him like, yeah. He was like, oh, my God, like, YouTube. I said, oh. He was like, yeah, I'm one of your subscribers. Like, I love your stories on YouTube. I was like, thank you. Can I hug you? Like, I hugged him. I think I was, did I hug him? I don't remember. I think I did. I think I felt more like the fan or more like the supporter than he did because this was such a special moment for me. That somebody actually recognized me, and it was actually right in my neighborhood because I also think that majority of my fan base is in South Africa or not, or the Caribbean, not in America. So to meet somebody that was like right in my neighborhood was like, wow, that's crazy. He was so sweet. He was so nice. He literally gave me my little compliment, my little tea, and kept it pushing, which I appreciated. And yeah, like this, it really does motivate me to keep going. It really does motivate me to keep pushing because like I am making a difference and my content is reaching people out there. And so whoever you are, if you are watching this story for some reason, if you are a constant watcher, I just want to let you know, thank you. I genuinely appreciated that. I've had other moments where people stare at me, but I'm like, maybe, I don't know, maybe you think I'm pretty, I don't know. But then also, I also be looking like how I looked when the guy approached me. So I'm like, I don't know why. But you know, if you ever see me in public, don't be shy. I have a resting bitch face. I always look like I'm mad, but that has nothing to do with y'all, okay? Don't feel free to come up to me and say hi if you recognize me because it does do something special to my ego. Anyway, all right, like I say, I have to get my eyebrows done too, as you guys can see. But I love you guys, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl.